So straight out of the gate, here are my thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA, just right out of the theater. There are a lot of bad reviews right now on the internet, but I'm going to get to that in a second. Long story short, don't pay attention to most of those. It's still fun. It's one of the weakest MCU films to date, but it's still a good time. It's like a really weird Star Wars movie, but it's also heavily influenced by B and C budget movies from the 60s and the 50s, and when it works, it's kind of awesome. It embraces silly. Sometimes it gets too silly, and then it loops back around, and then it's kind of amazing. I don't know how it does it. Some thoughts, though, on why it doesn't fire on all cylinders and be like a really great movie. If the rumors are true, at least part of the reason is because of former CEO of Disney, Bob Chapek, who apparently is part of the reason why Disney's output in the last few years has just been weak sauce all the way across. He was apparently not a good boss and not a good person. He spread Feige way too thin, so the quality control was kind of wonky and non-existent on some of these movies, so that's probably at least part of the reason. Chapek is no longer with Disney, so hopefully under Bob Iger's new management, we'll start to see over the next few years that will start to fade away. Also, though, to be fair, I don't think Peyton Reed, no offense to him, is a strong enough director to be dealing with some of the bigger ideas that he's dealing with. And he's not strong enough to sell, which is easily some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard written in a Marvel movie, or almost any movie I've seen recently. It could have been fixed in a rewrite, and honestly, it wouldn't have been that hard, but it's really tepid and half-baked. It's just not very good. That's really disappointing when you have a cast like this, when you have the likes of Jonathan Majors and Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer, and they can't even salvage the dialogue. I mean, this was supposed to be Kang's big moment when he's introduced, and I'm afraid that some of the dialogue and some of the direction is actually going to hurt his chances of being taken seriously in the future. All that aside, a little conspiratorially, I think some of the outlets and the pundits who actually gave this movie a bad review only did it because, minor spoiler, Cassie Lang is very outspoken about eat the rich and fight the power. Her values are pretty front and center at the beginning of the movie. I mean, at one point, she almost literally says, rent is too damn high. And I think it ruffled some feathers. I don't have any proof of that, but it wouldn't surprise me. Overall, still fun. Ant-Man has never been the strongest franchise in the MCU, but whatever, still a good time. And one of the after-credits scenes is literally a comic panel brought to life, so that was pretty cool.